Hi, I'm here. I'm here a little bit early because, as we know from the other day, all things do not run the way they're supposed to in the garden sometimes. So, um, I'll just wait till I show some viewers or somebody tells me they're here. I did get some questions off the community page. I'm going to save those for a little bit later. For the person, hi, Faye. Yes. Got any burning questions, Faye? And Leslie, thank you all for showing up. Kathy G, hi. Jen. Listen, stuff happens just proves that we're human. I did a show today. Well, I've done the taping for. We're going to have to edit some things in it, but I did a thing today with Danny, and he and I were talking about that. Danny Shea at Bathrobe Tarot, and not Bathroom Tarot. The first time my tech support put our show up, he didn't realize that spell check had changed it to bathroom, and that's according to Danny not the first time that had happened. Um, I these cards I did that for since I was 12, right? 58 years. So it's hard for me to break that habit. But these stones, and this one was here, I just moved it off for a reason, um, are the ones that I rolled for my. These are for me to know about how the reading is going to go today. And it says that there's going to be a lot of things talking about things from the past, but and it's going to be clarifying for me that my spirit is moving forward in this entire endeavor. Earth is the it's like the east and the west. Earth is the things are coming up, west is things are moving on. But what I have in the north is mind and money. And I that means spirits transforming my thinking and mental actions are part of the path of abundance. So, hi Patty. Jen, Carolyn, thank you all for all showing up and being part of the community today. Um, like I said, I'm doing my 20 some days of the garden to explain them, and I did have a really interesting vision last night. In the middle of the night, I really wish my angels could find another time other than 3:30 in the morning to decide to give me visions, but take them when you can get them. Um, but anyway, that's kind of the layout for us today, for how the show's going to go, and it's going to be a lot of things coming from the past and a lot of clarification of how to move forward and to transform our spirit. Our spirit's in the middle of transformation, and we just need to hang on and hope we get there. Um, let's see what I got. I pulled a card for the day, and when it hits 1 o'clock, I'll read the card. Oh, it's 1 o'clock. How clever of me. Um, the card for today is really an interesting crystal. It's called Ancient Wisdom crystal, and it's really all different types of quartz. Quartz can be dark. I don't know. Quartz can be every color under the sun. It can have inclusions. It can have funny things. It can be crystal clear like water. Um, yeah, there's a lot. Well, the full moon, okay, the full moon's tomorrow night, and I think it's really wearing on a lot of people because we're feeling the shift. We know the shift is going to happen. What this card represents is um, it it relates to all chakras. It's kind of a universal stone for everything. It's a powerful crystal that holds within them the love and wisdom of the universe. Over time, they can be programmed with sacred wisdom. That's why when people talk about programming a quartz crystals, I think, are the easiest ones to program. Um, they can encapsulate your past, your present, and your future. The information is ready to be received, and these crystals find their way into the hearts and the hands of humanity, under unlocking secret existences. And this one means awakening to ancient wisdom, finding support and guidance for the future, developing a deeper connection to your heart, and awakening our divine connection to our own planet. And that's kind of funny that I got pulled this stone, because I did this before Danny and I taped today. But the show we taped is on ley lines and the ancients, which are an ancient power structure that's been followed as far back as we can find with mankind. And we talked about a man who works with it, and his name is Rory Duff. And if you go, it's my show probably will be up tonight. I'm hoping we can get it up tonight. But we actually have 2 little videos that Danny and I included in it that show how frequency and vibration affects us. And that's what we were talking about ancient lines and how they really, really can affect people differently. And so one of the things he and I were talking about is both he and I get woken up in the middle of the night by our guides, just to kind of remind us that they're there and what they need to do, where we're going with things. And so my thought for the day was sleep. And sleep is really important for us. And when you're in keto, it's really important. If you don't get close to 8 hours of sleep, I know if I don't get close to 8 hours of sleep, which means I had to really learn how to roll over and go back to sleep. If you don't get that sleep, your body doesn't lose weight. The mechanisms that help your body readjust and lose weight happen at night. And if you don't get enough sleep, you get stressed. You get the stuff called cortisol, which stops all weight loss. And so when I wanted to go back, when I was thinking about sleep, I know it's so important to my own health, but it's just important for your mental health. If you don't sleep, you can't stay mentally okay. And so what I pulled out of the Housewives deck, this is the Four of Swords. And I don't know if you've ever seen this deck. I really like this deck. I think it's fun. Of course, I was raised in the era that all the illustrations come from. But the Four of Swords really is time to rest, relax, and reinvent ourselves. And its definition in this particular deck is: times have been rough, your outlook is wrinkled, your spirit is sagging. The Four of Swords is a sign that it's a fine time to retreat and reinvent ourselves before you're fit to be seen in public again. If you look, this woman's got like a face mask, the old 1960s, 70s face mask on, with a cucumber over her eyes, no less. Try exfoliating your frown, moisturizing your morale, rejuvenating with some relaxation. Give your attitude an overall facelift. With proper pampering, you'll be ready to be revitalized, and friends will be dazzled by the new you. And that's the card I pulled for today about when I was talking about sleep, because I really, really love this idea that we go and we kind of revitalize ourselves and we work on ourselves and we get ourselves stronger. And that's really important. I'm sorry, Benny, if you've lost a lot of people this year. It's been a tough year. I don't know if you saw the article or not, but the average age an American lives to dropped by 1.5 years in the last year. That's just 1 year added into a long, long, long list of times. Lots of that. And we do agree that Benny should have positive prayers sent to you. And also, Benny, realized you're going through a lot. Give yourself a break. Don't push yourself faster than where you want to go, because that's not going to serve you at all. And today, I told you each day in the garden, I'm looking at the guides are coming and they're telling me, look at this space. And you can always tell what the space is when you look at the board, because I have my fickle finger of flower fate on the space, and it's future. And now, I did two past, kind of your karmic past and your human time past, and we've done go for it, which was a really positive thing. So when I woke up last night and it said future, what happens is when I'm doing this I like wake up in a dream and I'm like in a space. And it's as if I'm walking into that space in the garden, but big enough for me to walk in it. And it goes, the space around this was so vast. If you put a plant out there, put a plant out and it will just come to life. It's just out there. It's as if I think about a flower and it appears in front of me and you can see it. Some of the flowers that I was projecting out into that garden were vibrant. They were all in very carefully kept beds. My focus and how much I focus on that flower defines its clarity. Also, when I look over, if I look out of the corner of my eye, I can see some plants that are almost translucent, almost like ghost plants. Those are visions that I have not begun because this is in the future. It hasn't happened yet. But my focus defines the clarity. The possibilities gives you a sense of peace or panic. If you're going into the future looking for a specific thing, that can panic you. If you're going through, with just open to any possibility, you'll have peace. The beds, I told you, were clearly marked. They were marked choices, options, change, or shifts. There's so much energy in the future if we choose to go there. There are no anchors holding us back. Its sky is as big, as light, or as dark as you choose to make it. But first you have to choose to be there, make a choice. And that's the meditation that I have to think about now when I roll into future, because it's kind of the wide open spaces, and I'll tell people a lot of times when I get stones in the future that there are going to be options there for them. I've got a request. Okay, we're going to look for Patty Palmer's daughter finding a lawyer to help her with her case. The situation around Patty's daughter and the lawyers. It won't happen till the fall. Her spirit. I've rolled this for you before, Patty, and they got the same stone. She has to decide. Her spirit is what's moving it forward and holding it back. The spirit being in the middle here is your spirit thoughts transform your thinking. Thoughts from the past are clouding her from getting new ideas. Spirit's transforming, but it's not yet finished. And it's getting closer to being finished, but it's really her own energy. She is the most outstanding stone here. Her body kind of wants to get out of here. She wants to be done with it. Her mind is in her root chakra, which is security. And she needs to be very, very creative when she talks to these people. And this is almost a karmic past and things that are coming out of her past life that are why things can't move forward easily. If she gets a lawyer, and this is kind of iffy right here because it's all in her hands. Does she really want it? It'll be in the fall. Thank you, Terry. I'll mention that. Yes, I see that she's broken, Patty, and she's got to be whole. To go into any kind of legal fight, you've got to be whole. You have got to have your best spirit armor on. Maybe it's time for her to take a thing from the card I pulled for today about sleep and rest and retreat and try that for just a little bitty bit. Once again, I'm going to remind you that until the end of the month, if you email me at crystaldirections.nancyjean@gmail.com, you can get a coupon that takes $10 off the cost of getting the garden. Oh, somebody asked, how does the garden come? Okay, where'd it go? When you get your garden, this is what you get. You get the tube. All the stuff you see here on the table's in this tube. It comes in a bigger white tube. And on it are some interesting things. There's a QR code that you can go to my website. The sheets that I use to interpret this, they come in the tube. When I finish the 21 days and I have a deeper definition of each space, That will be a PDF that will be available. If you scan your tube, you can find it. And that's kind of what the deal is with the garden. I've had many of you write me to get the $10 off. I think it's fair and it's fun and it'll give you something to do. Since apparently I think we're going back to being closed down. I think we're going back into being forced to hibernate. I know Tarrant County, immediately adjacent me, they put in a lot of much more strict restrictions. And my son, who works over there, said that they have said that the office he works with over there is going to be in lockdown soon. So I think we have lockdown coming again. So it'd be a perfect time to learn your garden, because what else you're going to do? Yes, we're all going to pray for you and your daughters and their children to find peace. Okay, Jan, I'm going to freeze you right on your comment right there. I had a comment that came in today on the community page, and I'm going to get to it now. It's about 16 minutes in. And this deck is a very unusual deck. I don't do mediumistic things usually, but when people ask me about departed family members, I will use this deck. I'll pull a card. It's by James Van Praagh. It's a really cool deck. And I got it because I worked an event that was about a medium that would paint people on the other side and tell their stories. But it was called Talking to Heaven, and that's what this deck is called. And I'm going to cut. And this is for the lady it's her father's 100th birthday today. Oh, he says you should have nothing to feel guilty about. And it's got these beautiful stairway. And I think he's saying if you have some regrets that all things weren't done exactly the way you wanted them done, that's not really a valid thing. I'm going to pull another card for you about what other message he would have for you on his 100th birthday. Yeah, my mother would have turned 100 this year too. Life is a series of choices. Choose love. And I'm going to get you one more. He's learning a great deal over there. I think what these cards tell me is you tried to do your best with him. I think he's in heaven learning a great deal. I think he was a hard person. I think he had a hard time loving other people. I think he had a hard time showing it. I don't know if that's true or not. What I get from these three cards is he's learning that lesson now. And if you call on him, he can come be by you when while he's learning these lessons. And I'm going to read you the long written description of. I'm learning over here. I always loved to learn, and sometimes I thought I knew it all. This was kind of what I thought. But now that I'm beyond the three-dimensional physical world, I'm astounded to be learning how things really work, that this is a beautiful, perfect universe. Even now, I can't completely comprehend God's plan, but it was a much bigger picture. You and I have so much more than we ever dreamed of. The only thing I can share with you now is how important it is to appreciate and honor yourself and everything else in life. You and I, like everyone, are God's sacred creation, which means we honor God when we honor ourselves and we honor each other with love. And I'm going to look at the life one, too. I got a feeling this is really an important message for this lady. Okay. This is the middle card. Love is the true nature of your soul. By making a choice for love instead of fear, you are saying to God, yes. Remember in life that when I would let other people's opinions define me about who I was never good enough to be accepted. This is because I was living in fear. But now I know how much more powerful love is. This is his message to you. By making the right choices, you welcome the abundance of every aspect of your life and want for nothing more. I want nothing more than for you to be happy. So with every choice you make, stay true to your nature, choose love. Fear separates, love unites. From over here, I will try to remind you and attempt to help you find the love you deserve. And I think if you beat yourself up and said, oh, I should have been there more, I should have been, that's not true. He's telling you the real message, which was, I think he loved you the way he knew how to love you. And I think he's sending love to you right now on his 100th birthday. And he is going to, he's asking you to love yourself even more. Okay. Okay, we've got a question on the board, which is Jan Lightseeker, trying to decide what path. Let's see. The situation around you choosing a path, and it may say something nebulous, and then I'll ask you to give me more information. Okay. Okay, clarity is going to come out of whatever makes you feel most secure. You're battling about a bunch of demons that are almost karmic in nature, but your values are moving forward. So I think you can beat these guys, and this little trifecta is kind of your problem here. It's not really a problem, it's the challenge. I forget, I'm not supposed to say the word problem. And that's from my guides, it's not from anybody else. In water. You need help grounding. You need to let go of limitations. And your transformation is complete when you do those two things. But your values are moving forward. And you've got some new things really coming at you. But your clarity, that's this stone. The clarity for all this is going to come from your root chakra, which is our security. It's the base we feel most comfortable at. And it says you need to connect with security through physical form. The way I'd take this is whatever your options are, make sure, you've got a lot of options. There's some when you don't face it with promise, you face it with fear, you tie back into these guys. I'm going to roll them again if you don't get those two in fire. Okay, you've got your mind in the sacral chakra, which is for connectivity. If you let go of those things, you can zoom on. Whenever you view a situation and you view it from fear and you don't view the things, just say, yes, I'm going to move on. This tells me that you're going to move on, that's a great place for you to move forward. The solar plexus is where all of our great ideas come from. Your spirit can get into there. And the sacral chakra is your creativity. So I think you need to think more outside the box than you are right now. But that's how you're going to move your life forward. Okay. Yeah, I mean, get the garden when you can get the garden. Oh, I can't put it in. If you meant the oracle cards I read, it's Talking to Heaven by James Van Praagh. And the problem is when I do lives, I can't put a whole lot of notes in at the end, which I can do when I do a recorded thing. Hold for a second. I'm going to look up. I have a way to reference to see about muscle aches. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right there. I know there's a couple really good ones, and I don't want to tell you the wrong one. Where does your muscles hurt? Muscle laxers, crystals. Okay. Nope. It took me to the wrong place. We're going to try doing it through this one. Let's see. Okay. This doesn't work. I'll give you kind of my normal relaxing things, but I hope this will work for you. It doesn't like that. Okay, so I'm going back to my old regulars for relaxation. Amethyst, clear quartz. It absorbs and stores and releases energy. So if you keep a clear quartz near where you're hurting, it's going to absorb some of the negative energy. So you need to make sure you run it under water the next day. Moonstone is really interesting. It calms things in your body. It stops nerves that are overreacting. It really helps with that. And smoky quartz. It offers protection from negativity in case your pain. Thank you, Terry, for putting the name in of the card deck I was using. It grounds and it's a natural healer. It also alleviates the depression that comes around being in a pain a lot. So I hope that helps. But it's amethyst, clear quartz, moonstone, and smoky quartz. And clear quartz, and there's some moonstone that's not terribly expensive. It's not a wildly expensive stone. Oh, I'm sorry about cerebral palsy. Ugh, that's a tough one. Yeah, you can. I'd sleep with the stones by my bed, not in my bed, because you roll over on a quartz point and you're going to know you rolled over on something. Okie dokie. Let's see. Where are my notes? Oh. Okay, and yeah, I'd be careful with the castor oil packs too. Not using them, but making sure you make sure they're double held together. My quote for today has to do something with what's going on around me. I have a manufacturing company that's going to give me a bid back on what it would take to build the eggs the way I want to build them. And then they had a suggestion for another way to build them, and I'm mulling it around. I don't think it's impossible. But anyway, this is the quote I picked today for me to meditate on when I'm talking about eggs. Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. And that's from Winston Churchill, and he said that during World War II. Now, they were under a lot more pressure in World War II than I am about the damned eggs, but okay, you come to North Texas? Okay, let's see. See the situation around Benny moving to North Texas, and I'm going to try to orient the grid to give us a time. You know, this is winter, spring, summer, fall. So, here we go. Okay, you got your value. You're having some problem figuring out how you're going to pay for this. Part of where you live, you're kind of really tied to. I think you're going to make, if you're going to make a decision, it's going to be this summer to move. And if it's not this summer, I think I'm seeing that. You might be thinking it could be next spring. Could it be as far away as next spring? It says it's this one I just did purely timeline. It's fall, but you have to get yourself past some things in your own mind that you're having problems arguing with yourself about. but you got a real interesting mind because your thoughts are going to be all important in this. I wouldn't move to Texas in August. I tell you that much, kids. I mean, even though we're having a really mild summer, it still can be difficult. Your mind is aligned with trying to creatively do this. Now, you did get 2 stones and go for it. Spiritually and your mind are in go for it. So you're going to find a way to get there. You're going to find a way to ground yourself and figure out how to get there because the value stone has moved. Grounding settles some long-term plans, and mental actions are your path to abundance. So I think if you put your thinking cap on, Benny, you can come join us here in North Texas. Why does my manager ignore me? He doesn't acknowledge me. Okay, let's see. What's the situation around Carolyn's manager? Or what is that? What'd you call a manager? Okay. It's not you, it's him. You're not doing anything wrong. I think you remind him of someone, and there's nothing you can do about that, but your clarity sits right in the middle, and I tell you, when it hits in the crux here, that's a really important stone. So for your clarity says, make sure your thoughts are clear. Use the ideas you carry from your past. You can resolve this. You have many paths ahead of you. Pick the correct one and for the future. And you have the clarity you need. Follow one of these things. This is coming out of past life stuff for him. I think if you get the option to move away from this man, he doesn't see anybody's value. It's him. It's in his own mind. It's not you. I can't tell you. You understand what the situation is and you know what you're doing. So I think, let me see if that's the situation around this one. We're going to leave that one where it was and see. I think I see something good coming up for you. What's the situation around Carolyn making a real change? Yes, you've got something. Someone's going to recognize what you can do creatively. Your clarity is going to come out of the past. Some skill you've developed in the past is going to come to the fore. You're moving ahead, and you just need to be able to picture yourself in that better situation. Because you got your money really is in go for it. So I would not be obsessing on what he doesn't see. I would be obsessing on pushing out in my own mind what I see, what I know I can do. Okay. Hi, Andrea. Anybody else have a question? I think that looks good for you. Carolyn, I think it's in your own control what happens with this thing. And you would like his acknowledgement. That would be important. I mean, it's important always to know the people you work around are paying some kind of attention to you, but I think he's having some problems that, let me go to see if the situation is him. He has some problems we don't. Oh yeah. He's got some problems at home. And he has some problems that are weighing him down. And he may be looking for a new place to go. He may just be so bored with what he's doing he can't stand it. And there's nothing in this that's making his spirit feel better. So you're kind of trapped with a person who's wounded, and unfortunately, they tend to spread the medicine around. One of my family members is coping with that situation in their work situation. Anybody else got anything else they want to say or do or talk about? Happy day! Glad to see you. Like your handle. And I had feel my middle son. Okay, I'll use the Von Prague cards. We're going to pull the first card for your son. I freeze it there. Okay. The first card's going to be your son. And his name is Bubba. Okay. And message Bubba have for Melinda. Was he troubled when he died, or was he in pain because he said he has no more worries, that he's fine? And that's a really positive message from him. Let's see what his daddy had to say. They've come to visit you in your dreams, and they're together in heaven. This says, we have been together in your dreams. And that means if they've come to you in their dreams, that they're together. Let's see if they have one more message for you. Both of them said it was hard, but it was their time to go. I think it was particularly hard for your husband because he knew you'd lost Bubba. But it was their time to go. They're in heaven. They're together. They're watching out for you, so they're as close as you wanting to call and talk to them. I mean, like, as in speak to them in the room where you were at. All of a sudden, I'm getting people. Okay, let me go back. Yeah, he's around you always, and he brings his dad in. Spirit, have a message for Kathy G. Yeah, right now you're rooted yourself pretty much in the past. I don't know what's going on around you. You need to break free from that because in part I think it's okay because it's kind of a reassessment of your world, but there's another part that your spirit and your clarity of how to move forward gets locked in the past. So for Kathy G, where'd you go? Oh, there you are. Spirit's message is for you to move forward. And it may be saying you need to get out and do physically, like get out and walk. Touch the world outside. Don't just sit in one place and expect that it's going to change. You are clarifying a lot of stuff. It's coming out of your past, your mind, and your value system. It's not negative because it says you're moving forward, but you need to get physically more grounded. Spirit, have a message for Carol Lee. Okay. Carol's got the opposite problem from you. Carol's really beginning to burst forth and feel a lot of intuitive flow. Spirit there. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Talk among yourselves. Okay. Spirit's transforming your thinking right now, and your mind is moving really forward. Final thoughts on the situation you're considering that you're having sort of a little spiritual internal war about is coming to the fore, but all of the solution for it, your body's here and your clarity's in the present, but your biggest one that you got here is the Crown Enlightenment, and that says help gives. There's people around you who are trying to help you understand your connection to the energies. I think you're opening up like a flower, and that may be kind of confusing because so much stuff's rushing in at once, but you have the capability of handling it, and you're moving in a really positive, forward way. Okay. Will cruises be safe by Christmas? Let's see. Situation around cruises. You really like to go on cruises, or you have always had a really strong feeling about going on cruises. You got two things in water. How cute when it's about cruising. Yes. Rounding there's still some things that are undecided in that industry, and that may change by Christmas. Your clarity is in air, but I see spiritually for you, that's really what you want to do. It's to get on that ship and move. You'll know when the time's right. This one says you'll know. Your spirit will tell you when transmutation is right. And air, warm, clarity. Air. No, clarity. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, okay. That says be sure your thoughts are clear. This tells me that things are going to come towards you that are going to help you make your mind up about it. But I think it's something you really, really want to do, and you'll figure it out. But you need to be careful. I mean, that's just the nature of our timing. But the Spirit's not saying you're not going to get there. Jen, what you need to do is sit down with a blank piece of paper and ask your soul to explain why Jesus was speaking to you. And it may come back that the reason you couldn't hear them is because you were raised in a Christian church and you are beginning to discard some of his teachings, so you're actually dreaming that fact out. Or it could be he was speaking to you and your mind was just blown and you couldn't remember it. But if you ask your soul early in the day when you get up, just say, okay, soul, what was Jesus talking to me about? And then write whatever comes into your head. Even if you think, oh, I'm making that up or it's wrong, write whatever comes into your head. Okay, I got a conversation here I'm not following. Oh, okay. I'm working on it. Okay, Andrea, do you want me to read about that situation? Let's see. Andrea and her relationship with her son. Oh, it's going to get better by the winter. What I see is he's trying to figure it out right now too. He's trying to work out how to settle some long-term grounding things to make his life move forward. Is the problem partly his wife? Yes, it's also partly him. He needs to say, I have a right to have the life I want to have. His spirit is in there. His spirit's going to transform thinking. I think it's going to get a whole lot better. It's going to be cleared up later in the winter. But he's thinking along the right directions. He just may feel, she may have made some comments to him he doesn't feel like he can share with you right now, what I feel, what's happening. He's trying to figure out how to hold on with you as a mom. He may be getting crosstalk from her that, I don't want you to share anything with anybody. I had a son who had a wife like that. And notice the term is had a wife like that. But maybe your son can work it out. It's just, he's trying to figure out his footing since he's gotten married, how to have mom and have a wife. Marie, the Spirit have a message for you today. Okay. Spirit may, but my hands are not doing too well. I've warned you guys, I do drop them, so it's nothing like, there's no supernatural thing pushing them out of my way. Okay, Marie, what you got? You're thinking about making some serious physical changes. They're going to come through because your spirit's behind it now. You're getting value and clarity in the present. Spirit's telling you that if you've started that new diet or you started walking with the neighbors or something, that moving your body is all important right now. And that I think it looks great. I mean, I think the message from Spirit, there's nothing negative on here. Yeah, you need to let go of some of the limitations you put on yourself. That's what that one stone's the only one that I didn't have a complete fix on. But in your present, this is great. Your values and your clarity are in the present. And that's means you're living in the now, which is always good. Your values are actually being purified. That's why I want to go back and look at this one. And your clarity is, you're getting information from a lot of paths, but I think you're thinking about making some physical changes that are going to boost your spirit. Thank you. Somebody gave me an emoji. Standish, Maine. You guys have had kind of a funny hot and cold, and then nobody knows where it's going. Summer up there, I understand. Let me make it again. Thank you for making the meeting again. Oh, thank you for very 444. Lovely power number you picked for your name. Oh, Patty Palmer. Okay, we're gonna do from the cards. That's what I thought you were meaning to want to do. I am standing right next to you. And that card's a really clear affirmation that from the other side he's there. And I'll read you. I'm standing right next to you. As you're reading these words, so am I, because I'm right beside you at the moment. I do respect your privacy and your free will choices very much. But if you'd like me to give you some space, just say so and I'll retreat. But for as long as I'm in the presence, my presence comforts you, I will stay nearby. Time is very different where I am now. I am no longer in a hurry, nor do I need to multitask. I love it when you talk with me. I hope you trust the answers I send to you. So if you're looking for answers about dealing with your daughters, that might be a good way to deal with it. I hope you trust the answers I send through your feelings, intuition, thoughts, and dreams. Our relationship is closer now than it ever was when I had up my old ego defenses up. They're not as strong as they used to be. I finally have opened my heart fully to give you the love you deserve. So I think that's a great message for you, Patty. And let's see. Oops. Yeah, it's hard. You never know what pressures people are under when they're first married. When I was in my first marriage, my husband was an only child. And he put our house together in Texas before I moved down here. And I came from a large family where everyone was very much more private. And he gave a key to his mother, and he didn't tell me he had. And I came home one day, and she'd rearranged things in my kitchen. And as a rather insecure 21-year-old, I wouldn't have none of that. So I just dropped the locks and changed them. He was a little upset, but... Hey. Vernie, okay. There they go. Oh. I thought I lost my rocks. That would be difficult. Okay, Bernie, let's see. Vernie 444, if you're still there, do you have an area you'd rather work in, or do you just want me to see that you're going to be going into metaphysics, and then let me try to Okay, you want to work in metaphysics. We're going to start there. We're going to see if there's a shift to when you're going to, the situation is you're going to be working in metaphysics. I would say you've been building a base in it this summer. I think it's going to be winter though before you, I think you're going to start working across and doing things, but it's going to be the winter before you get really set into what you want to go into. And what's this stone's telling me? Are you more this would tend to tell me you're more mediumistic, because I don't see someone who has to have cards, or you may use energy work like pendulums and things, but you have a family history of being psychics. So I think whatever your family's been into before is where you're going to go. Yeah, clearly you're embodying your past, and that's clarification comes from dealing with things in your past. So if there's a history of metaphysical work in your family, get clear about it, because it's going to be clarified for you in air. It says that once your thoughts are clear, but I show your crown chakra is really open, and it's open with spirit, which is great if you want to work in metaphysics. Getting those things open is the harder part. That stone actually translates into all will become clear. So I think you know what your family history is. You know what you've been exposed to, what you know. I think you could pretty much do anything, but I think you're going to work in more of the mental realm rather than, and I know it's hard for people to understand, but rather than being hard, you might read oracle cards, but I don't think you're going to read tarot. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm getting a very mixed message about. Okay, someone wants to know what form. Okay, somebody wants to know about her job situation in August. Let's see if it's going to be moving in the right direction. Okay. Job in August. I see that whatever has stopped in the spring is going to say kind of stopped. You're not real crazy about your options for August. Your thoughts from the past are clouding you. I see mental movement in late fall. That's not August. I got nothing in August. What I see, the base you're working from right now, is that physical changes are coming, as are some financial ones for you. You're going to have more revealed to you very soon. You need to be clear in your heart that this is where you want, what you work in is what you want to work in. And that you're emotionally secure about going back to work there. But I see the best shot for knowing, having the situation completely settled is really in the fall. It's not in August. Okay. Vernie, I don't know. Okay. Okay, Vernie, what I saw, and I'm going to see if this is right. I'm going to roll it one more time for Vernie, the situation about her working in metaphysics. And is that situation in working with more of the mental, in other words, you don't need a lot of props or cards or anything else if you're just going to be working as a mediumistic person or a person of vision. Got to restate it because of how it came. Okay, so I'm going to see. Is she going to work with cards? I'm going to do cards. Let's see if that looks better for you. Because then the next one will be healing. It's not cards. Is Bernie going to work with people in healing? Yep. There's someone in your family, and I feel like it's like a grandmother or great aunt, somebody like that, who has worked in healing. That's where you should kind of go look right now, Vernie, and see. What I see is healing, but it totally comes out of your past, and it's karmic past. It means it's sort of the soul pod you were born into. And what you got? Yeah. Once you open up that part of your mind, it'll be totally clear, because you got clarity sitting right on all four of those. And when that happens, it says, be sure your thoughts are clear. Use ideas you carry from your past. You know this solution. You've had many paths before you, but the correct one will really appear to you clearly. You have the clarity you need. Follow one of those paths. I think you have some sort of family karmic healing energy in your family tree, and that's going to make it easier for you to go there. I see you working in healing, and I don't do healing, and that's unfortunate because I can't really help you much. But like I just did a grid for a woman who wanted to go into healing, and I managed to put her in touch with a couple of people I know who do distant healings. Thank you for the people who are saying I rock. That's kind of lovely. Message for spirit for Vivian. What's the situation does spirit want to talk to Vivian about? Okay, we're all staying in the middle, man. We're staying on very elementals. You've got your mind set on something right now, Vivian, and you got go for it. So go for it. I mean, really, honest to God, that's the best. New clarity on how to get there is moving towards you. Actually, all the energy is moving for you to. Some things that have just emerged are going to come in, but you're going to go for it. So I know you're in a spiritual awakening of a certain type, and I think it's just going to flow right along. Just don't sit there and say, oh, but that couldn't be happening to me. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. Question. Okay, Benny, do you mean will it get better for people to be able to get in housing? Because I'm in the Dallas housing market, and I can tell you it's very hard for people to get into it. When you say, will the Dallas housing market get better, what I'm going to read is, will it open up in a way that makes it easier for you to be here? Or the North Texas housing market. Make it easier for Benny, situation around it for Benny. Oh. Yeah, you're going to have the money when you get here. It's going to be this fall. You need to get grounded and know exactly what you want to have, but you've got the root and security with clarification. When you see what it is you want, you're going to know how to get to it. That's exactly what's going to happen here. And you've got in crown chakra, you've got just trust your intuition, because you have the ability to connect all the pieces to make it work for yourself. So if your comment was, is it going to get better for you to move here? Yes, the answer is going to be, when you see what you want, you'll be able to get it. Okay. Deb wants to know. Okay. Deb Heck. I'm going to do Deb Heck. What situation does Spirit want to illuminate for Deb? Oh, you're going in the tree of life there. You get cool. Okay, first of all, if you get right in the middle, that means you get emphasis. But your emphasis for your body's development is physically pulling together. You have many paths ahead of you. They will appear in the future, but be sure your thoughts are clear. So when you're gonna, I think you're gonna have a whole lot of things show up at once, and that's gonna be kind of confusing to you. But partly you got two past things. You got your mind is, you need to break from previous patterns and learn from those experiences. And this one says, in other words, this card, this stone here means embody your past. In other words, look at the things and realistically look at the things that have gone on in the past and see where you go from there. And you get future and clarity in the crown, which, like I keep trying to tell you guys, that's one of the best places to get stuff. You've got clarity. Everything's going to become clear. It's just going to be, you're going to know exactly what you go ahead and need to do. And in the future, it says, ideas, okay, Deb Heck, there is a full moon on Friday. It's a good time for you to plant exactly just, and I don't care how outrageous it seems to you, write down whatever you want to happen, because what these stones are telling me right now is your spirit's totally in the present. You've got a whole lot of abundance heading towards you. This particular stone says that you have the clarity in your own mind. If you open it up and let it come through, anything you think now you can bring forward in the near future. So go for it, girl. The full moon is Friday night. I don't know where you are, Deb, but I'm in Central Time Zone. It's going to be at 9, right around 9:30. And if you miss writing your list, you can write it between, you've got a 12-hour window. So you can kind of play in there and write it. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to read The Young Woman, Not You, and see if that can give us some guidance to help you see. I'm going to see about how the young woman can start to move forward. What's the situation about this young woman moving forward? Yeah, she's really embodying that past. Boy, she is one angry person. Clarity is for her, once she starts to get, she needs to find something to burn that energy off with it. She's got her spirit and water. Something's moving towards her that's going to help get her off square one. That's this stone here in earth. Earth is things moving forward for you. Final thoughts on that situation are coming. How long ago was this? Because I have a feeling that part of how she's going to get unstuck is they're going to find out who did it. I mean, are they going to get some lead towards that? Yeah, I see transmutation is close to, yeah. This stone in these two places means that the spirit change in spirit's coming towards her. But yeah, right now, physically and emotionally, yes, she's stuck in one angry place. But I think something new is coming towards her that's going to make it clearer. And when she gets to it, she's going to be able to move forward. Andrea, that's what I pick up for her. I hope it's true. Man, hit and run drivers are losers. Are the spirits you're reaching to, are they on the other side? Because I can pull a card on them from this deck and see if they're really rejecting you or if you're just not hearing them. You're not. I'm taking it that some of them are dead from the way you... Okay, we're going to see. We will all be together again. That doesn't tell me a whole much. I don't think that's the right deck to use to figure this one out. I'm going to pull out of the surrender deck for you, Alicia. I'm not sure how to help with the tools I have. Sorry that I'm still, like I said, I'm learning every day how to get better. Oh, stop that. Stop that. Let's see, this is for Alicia. This is the card for Alicia about talking to her higher sides, her spirit guides, and her other folks. Okay, let's see what do you need to surrender to get in touch with them. Oh, surrender the outdated beliefs about yourself. Let go of limiting ideas about yourself that originate from the past. Then you can have your own inner power and soar in your life. My gut reaction, Alicia, is they're talking to you, you're not listening. They're not rejecting you, you're rejecting the answers they're giving you. And trust me, it's really hard to listen to our inner selves sometimes. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to go to Carol Lee and see the situation around your son, even though it's kind of cosmic spying to spy on the poor guy. Let's see. See, the situation around Aaron and marriage. Well, he doesn't want to. I mean, his spirit's not in this game at all. I think he got really badly burned in that marriage. I see clarity and a new change of mind is coming towards him. But right now, he's just investing in himself. He doesn't want to invest in another person. I don't see a marriage coming like anytime soon. And like I said, his spirit's not in it. It rolled off the tree of life, the harmony, the end. He doesn't want to be it. Okay, let's see. And I'm going to have to cut it off soon, guys, because this is getting to be an hour. I'm doing Carolyn. Wants to know if her spirit guides have a message for her. Yes. It's that there's some physical changes happening around you. They're changing your value system. Your spirit's moving forward. You have clarity between water and air, and when it lands there, it means it says you're not sure about which direction you really want to head in, and so you need to start that, but your mind is going to get really clear in the really near future. Really, really near future. So listen to your spirit guides. If you'll open your ears, that you may be able to hear them. And okay, this is kind of like if you lay out the stones and they kind of all hit in the middle, that happens. Now, sometimes I've read it, and I actually have had them go around in the chakra, all the chakra areas. I'll tell you, there's several ways you can do a reading. You can do a one and done. You throw one stone, and it says you interpret whatever the question you were asking with, and that would be the body, the embodiment, and that's your physical being in the present. If you can do where you say, okay, am I going to get a new job? This has to do with paychecks, jobs, that sort of value stuff. Throw a stone and say, go for it. Okay, how should I go for it? Throw the rest of the stones and they'll land in places, and you interpret it that way. If I throw all 5 stones, one thing I do know, if something lands right in the middle, it's got 4 elements. And there are places out here you can hit out here and hit 4 elements. If you have a stone that goes across several different fields, it's stronger. If you roll them out and okay. This stone I would say is the furthest from the pack. I'd put weight on what that stone talks about and then talk about those balancing it. And guys, this is a work in progress. I envisioned this board in February and I'm learning how to read it. And thank you all for showing up because it really helps me understand how to read. Oh, the woman in the accident died a year ago. Yes, it's her mom who thinks she's stuck. I think ask mom if she can direct people to where they can find the person who hit her. Okay, Alicia, what you can do is you can wake up in the morning and whenever you want to sit and start journaling and just say, ask your soul, what do I need to know today? And you can ask, what will bring me my greatest happiness? And don't edit. Whatever comes into your mind, write it down. Because we tend to self-edit and block off the higher energies that are trying to speak to us. Okay, sort of garden. Good. I know, Andrea. I saw your order. Yay! Yay, Andrea. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to cut this off. I have one more thing I did today. I have a really interesting deck, and it kind of goes with the garden, and it's called the Botanica. I could never read these cards. They are so obtuse. This card is transformation or death. And I mean, they don't have numbers on them or anything. You have to use this book to see everything. They're gorgeous cards, though. I mean, the pictures of the flowers are absolutely wonderful. And my friend who gave them to me, she gardens and she loves them. I have some decks that I just can't read, and I've sat and worked with these one night, and I realized I can't read them, but I can pull from them. And what this is the it's transformation, and it's the lone pine. I wrote it down. It's the lodgepole pine. That's the pine cones from the lodgepole pine. I don't know if you know about this pine tree, but for all of you who think all is lost, this pine tree, in order to regenerate itself, it has to have a forest fire. When the forest fire comes through, it opens up the pine cones and the seedlings can come out. In Yellowstone, when it got, my parents were up there right after fire, and she sent me some pictures. I have a brother who lives near Yellowstone. It looked horrible. It looked like nothing to be back. Within 2 years, these pines were back there regenerating. And they're called the lodgepole pine. And I think it's for a lot of us who are feeling, we understand we're in a position of awakening, we're just not sure how right at the moment. And this card reads that when this card is all about cycles, the endings with new beginnings. When a wildfire rages in the forest, the lodgepole pine, its pine cones soften, and it needs the ashes. It needs the ashes in order to be able to grow. And when in the next rain, they already have roots growing. In this way, this card is about transformation, change, perhaps a chance to consider the past and pick a new path forward. So I think we heard a lot of that today. New paths forward, moving forward, listening to your guides, really listening to them, and not rejecting them when you don't say, oh, I couldn't do that. That's not an appropriate statement. Oh, yeah, Kathy G. I had both my knees replaced. I know about falling down on your knees. And I hope that everyone has a lovely evening. Like I said, I may have the show Danny and I did together is about vibrations and frequency and how we can tie into the vibrations and frequency of the world. It's kind of an interesting subject. And I hope you'll go look at that tonight. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. I want to thank the lovely people who contributed in chat. Thank you, thank you. Go over, look at my website, see what I do other than sit here and talk to y'all. I've got about, this is 5, I've got 16 more days in a row of doing this. Oh, you got a tattoo of, someone has a tattoo of a pine cone. Anyway, and like T. Jones said, all is not lost. Things are happening. Things are changing. Tomorrow night, full moon. Do your deal with however you deal with the lunar cycle, but I would strongly advise this is a really powerful full moon. It's going to appear in exactly the same place that Jupiter and Saturn united to take us into the age of Aquarius, the age of air. It's really important, and I'm going to end the stream so that I can get on and do some things I need to